Om. Om. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatye Namaha. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Shri Tapona Sishyaya Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Hari Om. As per the tradition, we start with the Santi Patha. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Pak Pranaschakshrotramado Balamindriyani Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Ma Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastvanirakaranam me astu Tadatmani nirate Upanishatsu dharmaha te mayi santu te mayi santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. We have so far completed 3 chapters of Kena Upanishad and also 3 mantras of the 4th chapter. So, in brief, we'll just only do the chapter 3 and a little bit of chapter 4 and then we move on. Chapter 3 had a Akhyayata or a story, Upanishad story, where Devatas become very proud of their victory and then God teaches a lesson to them by appearing as a flash of light, brilliant appearance in front of them. So they want to investigate who it is. They first send Indra to find out. Once Indra goes there, that effulgent power asks Agni, first they send Agni there. Agni goes there to investigate. That power asks him to burn a piece of grass. Agni fails. So he goes back. Then they send Vayu. And then the power or Brahman asks him, Vayu, to blow it away. And he also fails. Blow out the same blade of grass. Then Indra is asked to go there. Indra is the Raja of the Devatas. He goes there. Then when he goes there, that Yaksha, it is called Yaksha. I've been calling power or effulgence, but it's called Yaksha in the Upanishad. The Yaksha disappears. Then Indra realizes it is something, not a simple thing. It is something that requires humility, and that is a problem. So he becomes quiet and reflective, and he also feels it is a matter of Veda Pramana, which is beyond cognition of Pratyaksha or direct perception or inference of the mind. Something beyond that, and he gets that feeling. And he surrenders. At that time, a beautiful, powerful figure, enchanting Bhusvabhamana figure appears there. A woman appears, and she is Uma. And then Indra asks her, who is that Yaksha? And then she teaches him that was Brahman. Basically, it is Brahma Vidya she taught. She is the guru and Indra learned from her. As a consequence of that, Indra realized the message of Vedas, you can say, Upanishads. And Agni and Vayu also have come to the Brahman. So Agni, Vayu, and Indra have become superior to other devatas because they have actually approached to learn and have gotten the message. Among those three, who is even the best is Indra because he has actually directly contacted through verbal. Others have come close but they have not verbally contacted. So the message of this story is number one, Brahman, although it's not an object of our perception, Brahman exists. Number two, it cannot be known or experienced by people who are proud. So number three, you should have the proper qualifications by surrender and also proper inquiry in order to and surrender. Have number three. Number four, when we have that surrender, Guru comes. Don't complain we don't have Guru. Guru will come when you have that surrender and Chitta Suddhi, Guru comes. And number five, the message of number five is that those who actually qualify and learn, they actually become respected. They become respected by the society and by others because it is the goal of life. Those who know the goal of life, others want to also learn from them how they should live their life. So these are five messages based upon the story. Now there is one more message. Shankaracharya Bhagavan gives another message. That message is that sudden appearance and then teaching also has instructions for upasana. So the next three verses, just mantras 4, 5, and 6, they actually give some instructions how to do upasana based upon the way the yaksha appeared like a flash. And how we should internalize such a messages that we get from the universe. So before I go to the mantra, I want to give you a little bit of introduction. What is upasana is? Upasana, that is being near that infinitude of Ishvara. And what is the result of it is we improve our focus, concentration, number one. Number two, we also have an expansion of our personality. Right now, in general, we are concerned about our own ego, our own intellect, our own mind, and our own body. Although God is shining through, in and through every cell of us, Srotrasya Srotram, like that, Chakshusas Chakshu, every cell of ours, we are not able to focus or see that expansion around us. And the reason for that is we believe we are only this much. The dimension is limited by my waist size, maximum. And then strong, big ego made of raga, likes and dislikes. And that is the reason we cannot experience that all-pervading infinite presence, Sat Chit. So Upasana is the means. Basically, the definition of Upasana is Sajatiya Vritti Dhara. Like Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. Sajatiya Vritti Pravaha. Namo Narayanaya. Namo. Then let the ego diluted, you have surrendered. So what Upasana basically does is, right now we break the world. Let us say even a devotee breaks the world as I, which is the based upon my ego, which owns my intellect, my mind and body, and he, Ishvara, somewhere remote. And, and because of that perception, because we identify with the body, that is how our intellect thinks about ourselves. What is reality? The reality is both I as a body, mind, intellect complex and Ishvara, both are existing within consciousness. As consciousness is Sat and Chit. And we rise like waves and then we play for some time, and we drop. Consciousness remains. So if you remember one of the verses of Upadesha Sara, Isha Jivayo Veshadi Vidha Satsvabhavataha Vastu Kevalam. It's a very simple verse, simple sloka from Upadesha Sara. Isha Jivayoho. Jiva is this person who owns this body, mind, intellect through ego sense. Ishvaraha, who is my savior, who is all pervading, who is like that, whatever words we use, but all pervading. There is no difference between them. Isha Jivayoho Veshadi Vidha. The difference between them is in our mind. Ishvara is very big. He is Sarvajna. I am Alpajna. I know very little. I am limited by this. But Satsvabhavataha Vastu Kevalam. But from the point of view of the actual reality, Sat and Chit, consciousness, both Ishvara and Jiva, they just rise and own that little wave as I and me, whereas Ishvara is much, much more bigger wave. Or can we say ocean? But together, both of them are made of water. That is Satsvabhavata Vastu Kevalam. Vastu is the Upadana Karana, the material cause of all, both Ishvara is same. Vastu Kevalam, same Vastu. If you look towards yourself without being bogged down by intellectual conceptions and ego and the vasanas, you realize God and you are one now. But the issue is we have not upastha, have not done enough upasana or karma yoga. For us, we need an Ishvara to worship and what do it. However, the Upanishad wants to give us some techniques based upon the story. This is a very powerful story. Based upon the story, some techniques how we can break the limitations of the jiva. Ishvara is always infinite. We have created our limitations. So typical upasana techniques they start with sometimes sakara, and then they glorify Bhagavan as the adhara of the whole universe, and then we, through our love for that Ishvara, we gradually dissolve. If you look at the Dhyana Sloka, Vishnu Sahasranama, you can see, Vishwadharam, Gagana Sadrisam. Those are things that give you indicators of conceptually all pervading like space. Meghavarnam, like Meghavarnam means blueness of the cosmic appearance. So basically, we are shifting our bhava to that all pervading infinitude. Now, next mantra will the first it has two instructions how to do that upasana. Number 4. Yes. Yes. Tasyesh adeshaha yadetatu vidyuto vidyutata atinyamimishada iti adhidaivatam. I will do once more. Tasyesh adeshaha yadetatu vidyuto vyadjutata itin nyami mishada ityadhidaivatam. So, if you look at Vyadjutada, it is not, it has a 3 after Vyadjutada. In the same way, Iti Nemi Meshada. Basically, the 3 indicates it is a vowel, Dirgha plus another Dirgha. Okay. 3, like A is a short. Is long. One more short we add. That's why 3. That's the reason that 3 is easy. The 3 indicates as an example, as a udaharana, as example. Okay. That's why it's a ti nemimi shada. That's like that. Vyadjutada. Like that we have to read. Okay. Tasyesha adeshaha. Tasya, that message of the Upanishad, tasya, that Yaksha's appearance, Adeshaha. Adeshaha means, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, it is a teaching with an example. So, example is given first and then teaching follows. Okay. So, this is a continuation of the story. Example is appearance of Yaksha as a flash. Now, how do you use it for us? We have not seen that flash, but it can be used as a way we meditate. Yadetat, etat, that flash, vidyutaha, vidyutat, yada. Just like the flash of a flash, the flash of a lightning. So you do meditation on the upasana, translated into English meditation. You meditate upon the flash of lightning. And I told you before, what is meditation? We are going to gradually divert our attention from the limited jiva bhava to expanded vision. Increase concentration and then expanded vision of ourselves. How do we do that? Through sajatiya vrutti pravaha. Through a flow of thought process where we grow out of it. So, in the case of lightning, the way to look at it is, your attention is immediately focused on the lightning, number 1. Number 2, suppose let's assume that every place is dark and suddenly lightning, whole thing becomes pervaded by light. Everything becomes occupied as though by light. That is very similar to consciousness. You feel that sudden expansion of light inside you, and the light of lights is consciousness. And you experience it as a flash. And that flash, when it expands, it is like a Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrusham. It's all pervading. Inside you, so the indicator here is outside. Flash is outside. But that connection is inside. That is upasana. Meditation on the flash of lightning. Why did they mention flash of lightning? Because Yaksha was just like a flash. So one of the Swamijis I have heard, Swami Sarada Priyananda, has mentioned that this is also can be used to look back in our life and suddenly realize where God has been in our life. Today you may not know. Once you are educated, once your consciousness has become purified, you suddenly look back and you flash comes to you. Oh, that was God's guidance in my life. That comes like a flash. Every one of us would have experiences like that. If you look back and suddenly you realize, oh, that was God's intent. It could be negative or positive. You might be doing something wrong, but suddenly inspiration came and you did not do it. Or something that you did not know you can do it, but God's power has inspired you to achieve something that insurmountable by any standards. And then you at that point you did not know, but now when you look back, it is done by Narayana, it's done by Balaji himself. This is not possible, humanly possible. That is also flash. Then surrender increases suddenly. So instructions can come from nature, and then you convert it into a bhavana like that, or you can see in your own life, but that is more personal introspection of flash. But common factor in between these two is your realization and acknowledgement that there is a higher power that created this. So it is outside. We call God still outside in this case also, but He has inspired me. He was able to, he made this possible through this little instrument. I heard a story, it's a nice story. Once a person, one of my colleagues had a wonderful message in his office. What it said is that a person has died and then he looked back into his life. He's a very devout person. Then he realized he was walking through the journey of life. And he saw the whole life as journey that is walking, steps by steps. And then when you could observe closely, he saw there were some phases of his life when there was only 1 foot. When you're walking on let us say on sands of beach, that's how it is actually described. You see 2 steps moving. But then there were some phases in the life, there was only 1 step. He was shocked. So he went back and reviewed what are those phases in his life. And these are those phases where he had most challenges, biggest challenges, difficulties, depressions, success, and doubt about himself. They matched with those phases of his life. Then he felt extremely disappointed and turned towards God, said, "Why did you desert me during those times?" God spoke to him from his heart. He said, "No, I did not desert. During those days, I was carrying you." You were not walking, I was carrying you. That's why I only see one foot. I always with you when you are 2 foot. You think it's only you. No. One is my foot, one is your foot. I'm always with you all through you life. Number one. Number two, during those days when you become incapacitated for various reasons, depressed down, I was carrying you. That's only my foot is there. So God never leaves us. We leave him once in a while. So that flash indicates presence of God in our life, but we don't know, but it is there all the time. But only when we acknowledge, it is like a flash. So the example of Yaksha appearing like a flash is show that ever-present godliness sometimes hits you like a flash, and then suddenly your mind realizes. That's first example. So you meditate upon that. You sit and then suddenly experience that inspiration like a flash, and then forget rest. The power of that flash. Remember that incidents where God walked, carried you, and then feel that extra connection, and then continue as a meditation. Number one. And the second meditation is iti Nyamimishad. Nyamimishad means like closing of our eyes. Unmesha nimishotpanna. Nimisha means closing the eyes. Every time you close your eyes, you do a meditation. It's not that it's a blinking meditation. It's not blinking meditation. But there are some similarities with the flash and blinking. That's the point it is trying to make. The similarity is the universe is in front of you. There are objects and there's a light shining those objects. But when you close your eyes, as though world disappeared from you. You don't see. Of course, other senses are working, so other senses are different. Let's not worry about that. Just focus on the eyesight. Now, when you open the eyes, the whole world now represented to you as though. So what is the difference between when you had your eyes closed versus when your eyes open? The difference between these two is when eyes are open, consciousness is perceiving it. That is godliness. So Jyotishamapa tad Jyotihi. This is light of the lights. So simple light would not do anything unless there is a consciousness behind. So whenever time you blink, you suddenly realize there is consciousness because of which the world is presenting itself to me, which we forget. We immediately get carried away with our preoccupations. So the eye of the eye is consciousness. Without that presence of that consciousness, eye is useless. So whenever you contact the world, you have to have that experience of connectivity through consciousness, through understanding. Okay, it's also a flash because we are not aware of it, but it's a flash. The flash of consciousness covering everything as perception of eyes, as eyesight. So he's saying, do the meditation whenever you see, experience the world as nothing but it's a presentation of consciousness. And then shift your attention to the consciousness without which that presentation is not possible. Iti adhidaivatam. These two meditations, one is flash meditation or flash of lightning meditation, you can say that. Other one is nimisha, blinking meditation, to recognize consciousness. Now in Vedic Sanskrit, I believe there is a verse which says, Unmesha nimishotpanna vipanna, like that. Bhuvanavalihi. Mother of the universe, when she opened the eyes, whole cosmos is born. Unmesha nimishotpanna vipanna bhuvana valihi. And then it also dissolves. So we are also doing the same thing, but at a smaller scale when you shift attention to the consciousness. Same thing Amma is doing. Nimimishat, that's the examples. So is that with the three short vowels is an indicator of example, flash example, and also the eye closing and opening example. These are it's called Ityadhi Daivatam. These two examples relate to external feed. Adhidaivatam. So Daivatam, Adhidaivatam means information that is related to the principles that are not in our control. So Adhidaivatam means what is the effect of the Devatas. Now we go to number 5. It is also another meditation. Adhadhyatmam yadetatu gacchati iva cha mano nena chaidad upasmarati abhikshnam sankalpaha. Adhadhyatmam yadetatu gacchati iva cha mano nena chaitad upasmarati abhikshnam sankalpaha. Abhishnam sankalpaha. Now, Adhidaivata meditation is start. Experiencing that expansion using the information coming from outside. Adhidaivata. Now, Adhyatma means doing meditation using the information coming from inside. See, the idea here is we are trying to break the difference between the barriers between inside and outside. See, this is Upanishad realizes this. So it is structured in meditations in such a way we have to either it is outside or inside, both of them are consciousness first. And then our perception. So we have to look either way, we have to connect it to consciousness. But because we have conditioning problem that this is only me, everything outside is not me, we have to break it the world as outside and inside. But from the point of view of Bhagavan Vishwadharam, Gagana Sadvisyam, so he is trying to lift us out of this conditioning. Right? So he has to break it the way we think. So how do we change it? Every experience, whether it is outside or inside, we have to connect it with consciousness. Here, adha, adha means after we have done the adhidaivika meditation, adhyatmam. Now we are going into the internal information related meditation. Yada etat gacchati iva cha manaha anena. Because of the consciousness presence, please concentrate here. Because of the presence of consciousness, mind gets power. Just like Agni has power because of Parameshwara or Yaksha in the story. Any vibhuti is nothing but Bhagavan. So mind has vibhuti to travel. Gacchati iva. Where it comes from? So anytime the mind moves, that Shakti is anena, his power, by his power. Now mind stops. Our shift should be to the power that drives the mind and then stop. Because of whom the mind moves, you go to him or her and then feel that oneness. Upasmarati va. Sometimes you are sitting quietly, everything is fine, but you're still thinking something regarding your past. Excuse me. Even then, you realize consciousness is giving you the power to remember and then drop memory part of it and be with yourself. It is possible if you are aware. Just like when I am looking at something and suddenly I hear something else, then I turn that way and then I start looking at this place. I have the capacity to shift my focus, my attention, but I have to be aware of it. In the same way, when thought comes, you again say, this is because of you, Bhagavan. This power of thought came. So substitute for thoughts with G, God. Every T, you change to G. That is Upasana. Slowly everything becomes G, ego drops. That is what Pratibodha Viditam Matam. In every experience, every thought, there is Atman is there. So using the story of the Yaksha, he is now telling the flash, our thoughts come like a flash inside. Memories come like a flash. But you look behind it and then you see consciousness. Consciousness is only presenting the flash. Abhishnam sankalpaha. You repeat this. Don't just listen to the one pravachan and then doing it for next some time, for whatever times, depending upon our ability to concentrate, focus. No, you try to do it. Just like I said earlier, upasana means sajatiya vritti pravaha. Sajatiya vritti means I am consciousness. And you go towards yourself and then start your thoughts. It's only appearance in consciousness. Then you expand. Outside also consciousness. Inside also consciousness. Outside information is supported by consciousness. Inside information is supported by consciousness. And only consciousness remains. Abhishnam sankalpaha. You keep in repeating this track of thought. Whenever mind moves or whenever mind is remembering, you see the source as a support, and then you remain within that source. And all of them come like flashes, if you're aware of it. Okay. Next mantra is very beautiful. Tadvanam nama tadvanam miti upasitavyam sa etat evam vedabhihainam sarvani bhutani samvanchanti. Again, tad tad tadha tadvanam tadvanam nama tadvanamiti upasitavyam sa etat evam Veda abhihainam sarvani bhutani samvanchanti. It's a very beautiful mantra. I will chant one sloka from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, to make this out. Yadyad vibhutimat sattvam srimadurjitameva va tatta devavagachatam mama tejomsa sambhavam. Whatever glory, whatever in this universe, glory or power you see, please know it is because of me. That is a very adorable presence in all of us. Vanam means adorable entity in all of us. That is Atman. It is that which fills everything. And it's the only thing that we all really love. Because who loves? I love myself because it is me. Anything that is dear to me, I love that also. Not that I love that person because he or she is by itself dear. No. Because he or she gives me some kind of joy, I love. It's only a proof that I love myself the most. But if you really investigate what is that myself, you suddenly realize that is Atman, Sat Chit Ananda Swarup. That is what you're trying to you love most. Once you realize that, you see the same thing in others also. Because the barriers are loosened now. You see that consciousness, all pervading consciousness, as the source of everybody's existence. That experience gives you certain type of expansion that is natural to Atman, Brahman. Normally people say that sense of fullness that we see in ourselves, we call it Atman. But when we open the eyes also, the same sense of fullness if you can see in others also, if you can see at one place, you can see at others also. Because the problem is not the consciousness is not all pervading. It's not, that's not the problem. The problem is we see through our limitations. So self-realized does not mean world will change. No, we stop seeing through our limited ego. Universe is always consciousness. We are only seeing through our conditioned mind. So Tadvanam means that worshipful presence in everything. Tad, the Daivic presence, that of Ishvara. Tadvanam. Tadvanam Nama, that is called Vanam by definition. Means totally adorable, most joyful, and all highly fulfilling presence. Tadvanam, desirable to everyone. Tadvanamiti upasitavyam. You also see that everywhere. Upasana, as I said before, is that connectivity. Sajatiya Vritti Pravaha. That connection, experiencing that connectivity, breaking the barriers. That is expansion. Upasitavyam. The word upasana is primarily used here. All of the 4 and 5 and mantra number 6 are upasanas only, but it's mentioned here so that it comes to the category of upasana. Saeva etad evam veda. No, that is the infinite presence only. Veda, know that. Hi enam sarvani bhutani abhisamvanchanti. Once a person has that established connectivity and has that pure sense of oneness, others also love him. Because in his presence, they also feel it. Mahatmas. And their mind also stops. But they do not necessarily know what happened to them, but they feel there is something, and they hang around him and they do service and they do all these things. Because they are reflecting that in their personality. It's true. Even modern techniques are showing that people, in the presence of people who are more self-controlled, IQ of others increases. They notice this. How? They do not know. Our Upanishads have said this for a long time. Just in the presence of being people who have Sita Prajna Lakshanas means self-controlled personality, people who are normally jittery becomes more focused and their IQ increases. They found it by experiments. You don't have to talk, just sit there. So these three mantras have outside upasana, inside upasana, and then connecting both. See, this is the key. They broken it in such a way, eventually the goal is to connect inside and outside as one, and then have that sense of being unconditional, self-objectless, pure awareness or being. Now, the message of this is sixth. That already gave you 5 messages of the Yaksha story. The sixth message is Yaksha's presence also gave instructions how to do upasana. Bhagavan Shankaracharya has extracted 6 messages out of this Yaksha story. Okay. Those 6 messages are: Brahma is. Number 2, Brahma is difficult to know if you have ego. Number 3, if you are actually patra or if you are qualified, you would know. Number 4, Guru comes when you are qualified. Number 5, when you become qualified, when you learn, you also become respected in the world. And number 6, you become upasanas can be used to establish yourself in that infinite being. 6 messages are given, and based upon this Upanishad story, this information is put together. So God appears to you as a flash, God appears to you as a blink, God appears to you as mind moving, God appears to you as your memories. And then Sankalpa, as you continue to keep that thought flow inside you. And then finally, you connect inside and outside as Vanam, adorable presence, and then revel in it, and then others also start experiencing it and they respect you. Number 7, mantra number 7. Now, one of the students talks. Upanishadam bho bruhi iti ukta te Upanishad Brahmin vava te Upanishadam abhrumeti. Ta and te, by sandhi, you can read as a te, but I will read as a ta also. Upanishadam bho bruhi yukta ta Upanishad Brahmin vava ta Upanishadam abhruma iti. Suddenly, a student is asking an interesting question here. The question is, Upanishadam bho bruhi. Bho means, hey, respectful sambodhana of a person in front of you is bho. Hey Guru, you can say here. Upanishadam bruhi. Please teach me Upanishad. Yeah. Upanishadam bruhi. Please teach me Upanishad. Then the Guru, see, because this is a conversation, Upanishad, they don't put the names and all that. You have to, Bhagavan commentary, when you read commentary, then you understand what. Then Guru replied, Upanishad Yukta, Te Ukta. I have taught you Upanishad. Brahmin Upanishad Te Ukta. I taught you, not I have, I taught you, I taught you. Brahmin Upanishad. Vavata Upanishadam Abhruma iti. Vava means definitely in the past. I have taught it already. So first chapter 1 and 2 I have taught. Again I have taught indirectly by upasanas. So I did teach you Upanishad. That's what the superficial reading of the mantra looks like. It is correct. Actually, the conversations happen like this. But for example, Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks, Sita Prajnasya ka bhasha, Samadhistasya Keshava. Sita Prajna, how does he talk? Kimasita Prajeta Kim, how does he sit? How does he walk? But it is really, the question is not how does he sit, how does he walk? Question is how I recognize that greatness. So sometimes you have to understand the message of the person reading through his words. And the guru, that is why the conversation is taking place between the student and the teacher. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, it is actually not literally the way it is phrased here. What it really means is, there is implied question here. And he gives two reasons why there is implied question here. He gives two reasons. One reason is, the person who asked the question in the beginning, Keneshtam Patati, what is that connects everything? So that person knows, he asked the Upanishad and he's sitting the whole class. It's not like somebody heard Ramayana and then doesn't know what is the relationship between Rama and Sita. It's not like that. So the person is qualified. So the actual, based upon the way the question is answered by the Guru, which will come in the next class, the question really is just knowledge enough for Brahma realization? You have given knowledge and you have given some techniques of Upanishads, Upasanas. Is that enough or is there something left? That is the question here. That's the implied question here. So I have read Upanishad numerous times, but I think there is still something missing because I don't have the connection yet. That is what the indication here. Is there something else there that I have not caught? That's what Bhagavan Shankaracharya clarifies. This is actually the implication, just like in Sthita Prajna, Arjuna asked, how does he sit, how does he walk? That's not the intent. Our intent is how is the state of his mental image of himself and the world. The same way here also, he wants to know, is the teaching completely done? I'm supposed to know everything by this, or is there something else I am lacking? Can you please elaborate that? What is that? That is the question here. That's how Shankaracharya, Bhagavan clarifies that. So it's not a layman's question that teach it again, teach it again, teach it again. And then every time it repeats like that. No, it's not like that. So, Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.